Good morning, everybody. This is Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do this today, but we still have several pages in this little journal to finish, so I've pulled it out and thought we'd do a page that's really easy to do. I have taped off my borders so that I'll end up with the sweet little border around it when I'm done. And I printed this off because I thought it was such a beautiful sentiment for November. It says, "Dear November, I am open to small miracles, much needed peace, and unexpected celebrations. Please feel free to surprise me." And I'm just going to utilize this and a glue stick and do a quick page on here. So the first thing I want to do is cut the actual sentiment out because I'm going to reuse that. Because I want to keep this sentiment. So I'm going to just turn this around so I can use it properly. And we'll cut it out. And just line the wire up that runs up here with the edge of whatever on there. And I'm saving the sunflowers because that's still going to be our background. Let's go ahead and cut this right there. Try to keep them in order so I remember. Oh, you demon. I hate when it does that. What on earth? I see it tore it. Oh, well, it's going to be torn. Why is it doing that? This is not that old of a blade. We'll just say that's more rustic. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, Mina. The M&M morning. Mina and Melanie. All right. I don't know why. Sometimes it cuts just fine, and then other times it doesn't. All right, I'll cut those apart a little bit more when I get to them. And the horror of horrors, I am throwing the little white pieces in the trash. And I'm just going to cut this up here. So basically, I'm just recording somebody else's art into my little journal because I loved it so much and I want to hold on to it, but I need to do it in a smaller format because I have a very little journal I'm working in. So I'm going to just cut this into smaller pieces. All right. Now, if I need to go smaller, I'll use my scissors. And I do have an old catalog here. Hi, Lala. Yeah, Scott cut something with it. I don't remember what it was over the weekend, and it's been acting weird ever since. See, I should have cut this just slightly smaller. There we go. And I'll glue that in there just like that. Oh, I hate migraines. I used to get what they call a cluster headache, where it felt like it was raining down over my forehead, and nothing helped until I went to the doctor and they gave me, I think it was a shot of something, and I had to stay in there to make sure I didn't have a reaction. But I laid there for 30 minutes at the doctor's office, and I walked out with no headache. I was amazed and relieved. But that's when I was working a very stressful retail management position. And it was when I decided I will never do management again. Because this job is going to kill me. Because I cared too much. You can't care. Can't care about your people. You can't care about anything except the time and the audit. The time and the audit. That's it. Drives me crazy. Especially when a company goes public. Being kind to your employees and all of that goes out the window because you're answering to holders of the money. Oh, that almost matches up. I got called names too because I was trying to do my job and I became a bitch. But you know, I hated being that. What did I do here? I don't know. I used to say, well, you know, shit flows downhill. And that's what was happening. Shit was flowing. And I hated it. So I walked away from that. Let's see if we can overlap this a little bit. Right here with just a little square. So we'll cut this here. Let's set it back up here. And I'll cut just a tiny little bit off this other side. I think when a business goes for their interest to be just focused on only profit, what happens is customer service goes out the window. Your employees are stressed, so they have a very bad attitude at the checkout or with helping people. And you got to find a way to inspire your staff without being focused on all this other crap. It doesn't really matter in the long run. There we go. So I've kind of recreated the background here. Now I can put my saying, and then I have all these pieces I could put in my orange bits and bobs for another project down the line. And my fingers are sticky and it's driving me crazy. So now let's see what we've got here. I might have to just trim this closer to the letters and not worry about their little border. A little bit more. You bought a vintage journal from Vintage Styles by Jo for granddaughter. She loves it. Oh, awesome. All right, so now we'll put this down here. My AARP catalog is coming in handy as my glue base. And I've got a cat that wants in off the porch, of course. No morning would be the same without a cat wanting something. Just a minute. Come on. Now go lay down somewhere. Okay. Let's do the I am open to small miracles. And we'll cut that aside. I just sent Scott off to work and it is quite foggy here and there, so I hope he doesn't run into any accidents along the way. Cole, stop it. I hope Tippy cleaned your clock. All right, I might have to cut this. Let's see. I'm going to cut this at I'm open to small miracles like this here. Maybe I'll center it. I don't know. Let's look at it. I'm going to go ahead and cut my other pieces apart and make sure I'm getting the spacing good. I guess I could have inked these, but I can go around them with my Bic pen. Small miracles, much needed peace and unexpected celebration. I think it's going to be a very tight fit on this page. I'm just trying to trim enough off that I'm taking away anything that's dark on the edge. I think the unexpected celebration would go okay. All right. I'm open to small miracles, much needed peace and unexpected celebrations. And then please feel free to surprise me. And see, I got that all in my little journal. Will this... I should be able to get this on here. There we go. And this all will go in the trash here. I'll glue it down. Morning, Pam. We went out and did a little thrifting, but didn't really find anything this time. I did see a little package of buttons, but they looked just plastic. They didn't look like there was anything good in them, so I left them. I have so many buttons. This glue stick leaves strings like a glue gun. It's very strange. So if you see a quote on an interesting background that you like, you can still use it in a smaller journal if you cut it up, if you want to save it. And if you don't have a printer, you can still do this. You can create your own background and then just write out the quote on a separate interesting paper and cut it apart and stick it in your journal. because I know not everybody has a printer. And if I'd been thinking of it, I would have printed this on sticker paper. Do you know how easy that would have been if I'd printed this on sticker paper? It's all right. Morning, JL and Heather. Good morning. I think I'm going to turn the heat back off since it's just me here at home, because I can always bring a space heater in here, and I don't want to heat this whole 2,600 square feet all day long. So now I want to add a border around everything. Yeah, it's really foggy out there. Man. I'm just going to go right along the tape. I am thinking about putting together an interesting advent calendar that I would give away Black Friday. So if you are getting an advent calendar from somebody that is a creator, what types of things do you think would be fun to find inside the advent calendar? I'm going to go over the list I have started to let you guys know the ideas I'm throwing together. Tippy, stop it. I've already put fresh food out. I'm going to spray you with a spray bottle. Go on. Find something else to do besides digging on a bag. And if you're that bored, go back outside on the porch. Listen to the birds. So that's what we're going to do next. Let's work on that list a little bit. And then I want to go over the little journal idea I had for us to work on together that will start on Wednesday. And now I'll pull this tape off, maybe, if I can figure out which one went on last. It's 44. I think we're supposed to get in the 70s today. And they kept saying rain possible tonight, last night. And we got a little bit of sprinkling on us when we went over to Scott's mom's. But that was it. That was it. All right, so this is November 3rd. Quote found online. So there's my little page just made with something I found. All right, the door is propped. I'm going to go turn the heat off real quick so I'm not heating the great outdoors. what you're getting excited about. Just go get it. All right, we're gonna make like a little window, like Anne has for her little 2-inch squares. And then I want you to grab your painty paper scraps, which I think is what's in this folder right here. I think. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to put those in my orange bits and bobs. So we'll do this in a minute. And then what did I do with that list I had over here? Okay. So on my list of calendar ideas, for an handmade advent calendar, I have a dishcloth, a tiny handmade journal, a hat, face scrubbies, small baskets, and that could be crocheted or sewn like that. A zippered coin purse, small art canvas by me, a rope bowl, a small one, a tissue holder, a wrist key ring. And then I was trying to think of some other handmade items that could be fun in an advent calendar. And plus, I thought this would also give you guys ideas if you have like a lady in your life that you'd like to do an advent calendar up. And Mina's got a star, camel's crowns, manger. I'm just going to put these all on one line. So kind of like Christmas themes. I might put this as ornaments, ornament ideas. What do you think about that? That would be a good way to use these, is just make a small ornament. So I'm going to put this in parentheses, but then on top over here, I'm going to put ornament. Those are for images. A magi. Let's see. Trying to think of what else would be cute. Yeah, a felt ornament. So those are ornament ideas. And then I'll just put felt ornament. You could do a crocheted ornament too. You could do several different ornaments. Somewhere I have instructions for a amigurumi little tiny Grinch, and he is adorable. I made one for myself, and he is adorable. Yes, felt ornaments are easy to make, and you can do fancy stitches on. Wreath, poinsettias. Scott and I ought to do a field trip to where John Poinsett is buried. It's not far from here. And it's at a very interesting churchyard. The church is earthen church. The walls are like 4 feet thick. And it's not far from us. We might do that as one of our December field trip type things. And we'll do a video. And I can show John Poinsett's grave. They always cover it at Christmas with poinsettias, which is really interesting. It's really chilly having that door open, but Howard freaks out if I close the door to the porch. So let's see, what else? A bookmark. That's a good idea. A bookmark with maybe a secondhand book. Doesn't have to be brand new. I'm thinking of things that people can do with items they have in their homes or can be purchased secondhand so that we're reducing the cost but keeping the joy of the holiday season. Does that make sense? Because, we're all a little bit tight and we don't have to fund the millionaires' pockets anymore, you know. Ooh, a coffee cup cozy. That's a good one. Crocheted coffee cup. But I watched a young lady and she said, don't let them take the joy out of your Christmas. Find ways to do it. And then there's also an idea that I can't remember who was mentioning it. I can picture him in my head. He was part of Wooster and Jeeves combination. And he was mentioning doing a found or free Christmas. So if you found something that was interesting and you could turn it into something, like I have a bunch of frames I've been picking up at the Goodwill, just empty frames. You could pick up flowers and stuff, put them in a press, and then do a dried pressed flower arrangement and put it in a frame where it would stay in position and give that to somebody to put out as a decoration. That would be easy to do. I actually have a microwave flower press, so it makes drying flowers a lot faster. I had on here a zippered coin purse, coasters. A set of 6 coasters would be fun. And that's what I was thinking. The face scrubbies, I was thinking a set of 6 of those would be cool too, because then it would be almost a week's worth of, makeup removable pads, to scrub your face off. If you use, fancy facial stuff, which I don't, but, some people do. I'm going to put up here, found and free holiday. And or free or handmade. That was what he said. Found, free, or handmade holiday. I had thought about going down to the lower end of the walkway that's down below us. What is a good soft cotton? If you can find a cotton that contains some bamboo, that's really soft. But the only thing is, sometimes bamboo it breaks down faster than cotton, but it's really soft. But it's hard to find that combination. So this is the whole idea for this list: the found and or free or handmade holiday. And I just got to thinking, I can make stuff and make up a really cool advent calendar and give it away Black Friday. Some of this stuff I already have made around here, but it'll be a surprise what is opened on what day. And I need 24 items, but I figured we could keep going with the list and then I could, go from there. A painted rock. Yes. I was trying to think of some things you could do with like air dry clay or paper mache. I don't know. If you had some of that paper mache, well, you can mix the paper mache up. Just take your paper mache in a bag and then some water in a separate, and then mix them together. And you could pour them into animal prints and make some prints for a child and get them to guess what the animal is. That could be a fun one. When my son was in Boy Scouts, they would take a canning jar lid and put it over the the footprint, and then fill that in with the paper mache, and then it would pick up a little of the gravel and stuff, but you'd get the perfect, like I think Greg did a raccoon's paw print, which was really cool. But you could do deer. What else do we have around here? Possums, fox, skunk. If you were down near the, could get near the beach on one of the river, we have river otters that you might get lucky and find one of their paw prints. Of course, there's river rats, but ew, who wants a rat's paw print? You could do harvested flower seeds, and you could do that. You could go rogue and do that in gardens when you're walking through. If you see something with a seed pod, you could just like snatch it and dry the seed. You just pretend I didn't say it. But then you could do up a cute little package, your own little seed package. Just make it up and draw a picture on it and then put the seeds in it. I have a ton of blackberry lily seeds, which I don't know how they'll do or anything, but it could be fun to do. At the Goodwill, one of them out in Lexington, they have this plant out front. And I keep telling Scott, I said, I've got to remember some wet paper towels and a baggie and my clippers. And he's like, why? And I said, because you see that plant? I just know that if I took a couple leaves off from it and kept them moist until we got home, I could put them in a container and root them, and I could grow some of that, and I could have it in my yard. And Scott says, plant witch. He used to come home and somebody would have pulled all their azaleas out and they'd be out front. And this was back when we didn't have a second car. So I would take my garden wagon and walk around. And if I found stuff people had thrown out, I'd drag it home, and he'd come home and there'd be like a pile of azaleas, or there'd be iris plants in the wagon. Or so, yeah. In fact, I've got some pale yellow bearded iris in a bag out there. I've got to get in a pot today. That's something I've got to do. We actually got those free at a yard sale down the street. A lady was just giving them away. They said, you can take 1 or 2. I said, can I take 6? Because I was thinking I'd do 3 in a pot for me, and then I'd give Greg's girlfriend 3 in a pot, because she's plant witch too. Yeah. So what else could we do? I need 1, 2, 3, 5 more items. Let's think. Oh, you could make a handmade brooch. And I'm going to keep looking for ideas. Brooch. That's a brooch. I don't know how to spell brooch this morning. That's pretty bad. Okay. Let's see. I'll keep going with the ideas and keep the list handy, but I'm going to move on to the next thing. I'm going to take just a piece of cardstock that's laying here, and I'm going to make myself a viewer and a thing I can trace out on of a leaf form. I figured if I drew it out, might be too close to the edge there, but that's about the right shape. And then let's see if I can cut this out. Wish I had smaller scissors like this. So Scott's used to me, and he used to come home and I will have decided some bush needed to be moved, and I'd have this section of logging chain pulled out, and I will have dug around a bush that I decided it needed to move, and I'd hook it up to the old Ford pickup truck we used to have, and I'd jerk the bushes out. He said nothing's safe. Nothing's safe, he used to say. I was like, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean nothing's safe? He just laughed at me. So I'm just going to cut out a leaf stencil. I should have had a bigger piece of paper so I wouldn't be so close to the edge. But we'll make it work. We went to a place. I did a little short while we were in there. It was called the Cornbread Cafe up in Elgin, South Carolina. And we hadn't been out that way in a long time. So Scott said, let's go check out Elgin. And so we went, and we had a couple sandwiches. And it was okay. It was okay. They bring you, when you sit down, they bring you some cornbread to munch on while you wait. And with us being on the medication we're on, that about filled us up, the cornbread. And we even just split one piece. So, but it was more cake-like, and Scott doesn't like it when it's like that. He would rather have it not so. Okay, that's enough. One high is enough. And you're welcome here as long as you behave. No crazy crap, or I'm going to boot you. All right, I'm going to get out some painted paper now. So we have a stencil, and we're going to pull out some fall papers. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's the end of it. Is everybody else still here? All right. Painty papers that look autumnal. So let's see what we've got. I may have used them all. All of this decoration came off somebody's package. Oh, I think that's something else. That one we might can get a fall leaf out like right there. Oh, that's fine. I might get over there before she signs off and heads off to school. This is going longer than I thought it would because I can't get my poop in a group this morning, I guess you could say. That could be a cool leaf with that orange on it. All right, so what I was going to say is make your stencil and then trace in it and cut out a bunch of different leaves. Because I saw this idea online and I thought we could do it. I don't know that I want to use the deli paper. I have a lot of it because of that orange cat paper piecing I did. That could be a possible one for a leaf. And that one. And maybe that yellow. All right. Looks like we've got some options. That one's cool. I do have a die. I could have just cut the leaves out with my die, but not everybody has a die. So I was trying to think of a project where you could make your own leaf form. That's got some cool green on it. Got some avocados there. That could be interesting. All right, so this is what I have to choose from to make leaves. And I was just thinking, if you guys wanted to prep your leaves for Wednesday, you could. So I need my little thing I just buried. What you're going to do is on my, I think it was in my group, but I'll try to go back and add a link to the idea, and I'll show you. Let me just open it on my phone real quick so you guys will kind of know what I'm aiming for. And if I can remember, I'll put this image on my community tab so you can see it as well. I know I put it in my group on Facebook. Well, come on back. Aunt Beck's Creations. Here, okay. See the leaves? Oh, stop moving. But you can see how she's decorated them. And what I'm thinking is if you cut out your leaves and get them decorated, then we can come up on Wednesday. We'll do the image, and then Teresa had the idea of, since we're making a thankfulness journal together, you could write something you're thankful for on your leaves, or you could write it on another piece of paper and then cut them out and then glue it on there. So you could still decorate your leaves as much as you want, but then you'd have your strips of paper on top of the leaves of things you're thankful for. But the whole decorating the leaves, you could see she's used paint pens and things, and she's doing a background on here. But the leaves is what we're focusing on, is just to create leaves and decorate them up. Doodle on your leaves after you get them cut out. And we might do a couple together. So I'm going to do like 2 leaves of each print I have here. And I'm just going to draw around it with a pencil so I can erase the pencil lines if I need to. And everybody's leaves will look slightly different because we'll all draw our little stencil slightly different, but just focus on it being leaf shape. So there's 2 there. Let's see if I can get a couple out of this one. Yeah, Melanie watches Leanne, and I usually try to be off in time to watch Leanne at the pastry quilter, but I wanted to get us started on this project for Wednesday. I just like that with that kind of orange on it. And then this one, I liked this right here with the yellow and the light green, because sometimes a leaf will fall and it'll still have green on it. I think I'm just going to do one of that one as well. And I might put my remnants of whatever is left over from cutting these out into my orange bin. So we could do like a red leaf right here. And if you want to just flip it over, your leaf will head in a different direction if you want to do that. And I'm not going to do stitch group today, but anybody else can open the room if they wanted to. I'm just not going to be there today. I've got some things I got to do. I have to go to Costco. Ooh. This is one of those leaves that's gotten fungus on it. You know, the ones sometimes you see. And if something doesn't feel, colorful enough for you, add some more color. Oh my goodness, Piper. Bad attitude cat. One of those. You like this idea? Ooh. I like the red on this side. I don't know that I've ever seen a pink leaf, but hey, there's always today. I really like this green. It's got some texture to it too. I should sharpen my pencil. It's getting kind of dodgy. I have a pencil sharpener right here. Oh, I was hoping I could get at least one off here. Maybe two if I go. Oh, wow. There we go. I don't know how we'll utilize these because our journals are going to be, that was another thing. Our journal is going to be the 5x7 size. So you'll need 2 pieces of recycled, like cereal box weight cardboard for the front and back, the covers. And then you'll need 3 pages because we're just going to do a little chunky journal like we've done before. And we're going to call it our thankfulness journal. And it shouldn't take us too long to, fill it up and get it made up. And we'll build the pages and then sew it together with the slip knot binding. That way we're not trying to work on pages that are, in a book. I like to work in the flat first. I was hoping to get one here too. Let's see here. Maybe just. Apparently Greg's cats kept him up most of the night. All right, I'm going to cut these out and we'll see what these look like. Yes, Piper and Cole are Greg's cats, and they usually stay out in the bonus room, but since we've turned the heat on, they've been sleeping there in the kitchen where I have a couple of the dining room chairs, because the dining room and living room are still waiting to be finished. So they've been sleeping there and kind of guarding the food dish. And they won't just stay in, apparently. He lets them in, and then they ask to go out, and I let them out. So I guess I need to just tell them they have to stay in. But their litter boxes are out there, and I'm afraid if I make them stay in, they'll have an accident. Cole is taken to using my cat's litter box if he's in here, which doesn't please them very much, but it's better than him having an accident somewhere outside a box, which is never good. So this will use up some of your painty paper scraps if you've got some, or if you only have scrapbook paper, grab some of the scraps from it, and you can, make leaves with that. I think I will put this paper into my Bits and Bobs books so I can get it used up. Make some cards with it maybe. And if you have a leaf die and you just want to, and not, hand cut your leaves like I'm doing, feel free. I'm just doing this because I'm trying to come up with some projects that don't take a lot of fancy tools, because not everybody has the fancy tools, and I want everybody to be able to participate. I'm just going to get these cut out, and then we'll decorate a couple of them with the doodles. And I will go and put the picture leaf punch. Here you come. Okay. I'll put the picture or a link to the video where she's showing how to do this on my community tab, just in case you don't have a way to get into Aunt Beck's Creations, or you're not a member over there, because that's where I have the picture, just so you can get some ideas for doodling. But if you don't want to, try any of those doodles, we all know how to doodle. Just doodle whatever you want on your leaves. I almost missed this one. Forgot I put 2 on this piece of paper. Now, I think, was it Joyce that was mentioning about the collage, where you add a little bit to a collage every day? You add one thing. And I thought that was interesting. I need to find out more about it. I think it was in Anne's last night. I might have to go back and see if I can find the information on that, because that looked like fun too. I could see doing something like that on a canvas, which I have a bunch of canvases that I need to use up. So I'll need to make some little bags or something to put things in for the advent calendar. I think that was the only one I had on that one. Yeah. And then I have this pink and red one here. I probably have way more leaves than will fit, but if we needed to, we could take 2 pages, facing pages, and add the leaves in a big circle over the 2 pages, and that would be a 2-page spread in our book. And everybody's will look different, which I think is a good thing, because we all have different painty papers and we'll doodle differently. And I do love the new Sharpie pens, the creative marker pens. And I'm not saying anybody needs to go out and buy them, that's for sure. Use what you have. But they are a lot of fun to use. All right. This one's hard to see where the pencil line is because of all the black. Got to get it just right. Oh, that looks cool. Now we got a yellow one over here with the same issue. I think on the lady's leaves, I think she used the complementary colors as her doodles, or white or black. I'm just trying to remember from memory without looking. These are going to be pretty. Look at those. So you can make your own ephemera. You bought a set of black and white Sharpie Creative. I also got a cheap set of Artico acrylic brush markers from Amazon. They're fun. Cool. Mina says, here comes the leaf punch. Man, you'll be able to do yours fast. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, it's getting cold in here. I'm going to have to shut the door, and then Howard will be at the window going boom, 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 and then looking at me like, you shut the door. How could you do that? I should do a short of him knocking at the door because it's hilarious. Uh-oh. Well, this leaf is, oh well, it's going to be slightly off. I've taken to, when we get up in the morning, I turn our front porch and the end of the sidewalk lights on for this lady that walks her dog in the early wee hours of the morning. Because we have this curve in our street, and I'm afraid she's going to get hit by somebody not paying attention, because the young folks that have moved around the neighborhood, they don't seem to remember they're in a neighborhood. They come flying down the street. Although Greg's friend stopped, and she was parked out front with a U-Haul and her car on a trailer overnight Saturday. And Greg said he thought that made people slow down a little bit because that truck was like mostly out in the street. Get out of the cabinet. Whoever's in the kitchen cabinet, I heard it. Piper, is that you? Piper's the one that taught Howard how to open the cabinets, but it could be Howard. That's why I have to wash all my dishes before I can use them in the lower cupboards. Even though they're in there, they were put in there clean, I still do a quick washing in the soap and hot water before I use them. They are so... Howard's been an imp this morning. He's been running around, and he gets going, and he's such a big cat. He loses his footing on the hardwood floors, and he slides and slams into the wall. I don't know how he doesn't hurt himself. Literally. It's just because he's acting crazy. I told him, I said, you're going to hurt yourself. Of course, he looked at me like, am not. Oh, I can't see my pencil line. We're going to guess. So feel free to doodle your leaves up. And I just figured this would take us some time to do, and we could have it ready. And then Wednesday, we'll put together a spread. Or we could even make this our cover. We could put these leaves on the outside, you know, lay our covers so the outsides were up, the front and the back cover. And this would be the front and the back cover. That would be a nice cover for our little journal. We would have to do a background to put our leaves on. She had done a background of, it looked like just a mixed media background of kind of a brownish, like think dirt road. And we might could do a dirt road on our cover with our colorful leaves on it. That's something I miss, the walk down our country farm dirt road where I grew up in New York in the fall, and you'd walk across all those beautiful leaves because we had trees on either side of the road, and the road would just be covered in beautiful leaves. We don't get much of that. We've got some pretty color right now, just pops of color. It's not like, it's nothing like a New England autumn down here. Nothing. So this is the gray leaf with the orange pop on it. I probably have way too many. I probably have way too many leaves. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have my cardboard already cut. I've got where I had saved a bunch of cardboard, and then I think I have some chipboard type cardboard that I had gotten on clearance at one time. I don't know which one I'll use, but I'm just going to show up on Wednesday with my 5 pieces of whatever cardboard cut at 5 by 7 inches. That way it'll be the same size as the other smaller journals we did together. And I think it would be fun if we do this one in November. Maybe we could do a Christmas journal together in December. And I just want to take it 1 month at a time, because I know we all get busy in December. I need to try to get my little printer working again so I could print off our anniversary trip pictures. All right, I've got just 2 more to cut out, and then I'm going to grab my creative markers and maybe do a little doodling on a couple, and then I'll turn you guys loose and you can go cut out or punch out or die cut your leaves and have them ready for Wednesday. And if we don't use all of them that I've cut out a bunch, we can use them on different pages inside the book. Or we can use them in another project. So go as freely as you want with your scraps. If nothing else, you can set them aside and have them for future projects. You could make a Thanksgiving card. You could even use these leaves to form the tail of a turkey for a Thanksgiving card to mail to somebody, if you wanted to. So there's our leaves. I'm just going to move this stuff over here. Whoa. And I'll sort that out by color and put it in my Bits and Bob's books things. All right, so, and I'll put these over there too. I got to do a mess cleanup. Let me get a piece of, I've moved my paper. Let's see. Let's get a piece of just dirt color so you guys can see the different colors here. So I'm thinking if we do a brown background on our journals, then we'll have these to put on. And the whole idea is they did kind of like a mandala. So if these were 5x7, blah, 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 we would do like this over our 2-page spread. And I would just start like it's in the middle. So you get, you know, half of it on one and half on the other. And then we'd just trim away anything that hung over the edges. And then this one would go in there. And you would just keep building this up. So this is the idea. I got a little pencil there that I need to erase off. But I think this will be really pretty. And then this one would go there. But you get the idea of what it's supposed to end up doing. And we could even, if we don't want to leave the space, we could overlap a little bit. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what we're aiming for. Let me get my creative markers here. And I'm going to doodle on a couple. And I was thinking maybe use some blue and white on the orange one. Maybe we'll do that here. Yeah. I'm just covering the pencil line instead of trying to erase it. I'm just going to cover that up there. Whoops. I'm going to kind of leave the centers of mine kind of empty. So, yeah, you said 5x7, like the little journals we've done before. And I'll show you. I'll go grab those real quick. Just to refresh memories. And with us doing just 5 pages, that's 2 for the cover and 3 pages, we should be able to do it and have a little journal, you know, by the end of the month. We work on it on Wednesday and a little bit on Monday mornings. So there's a doodle. And then maybe, let's see. Oh, what did I knock out? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Let's do some yellow and orange on something. Maybe on this one. Since it doesn't have a lot of color. Just doing a little up and over and down and around. First go one way and then go the other. So see, it doesn't have to be a lot of doodles either if you don't want to. I mean, you could add more. Let's do some yellow on this one. And then when we put our little strips with what we're thankful for, I'm going to have to come up with some good ones. This one might need some other color added because this yellow is really light. I'm just pressing this down to make dots. That one almost needs a second color. All right. So your doodles don't have to be anything, magical or, any of that. Don't worry about it. Just doodle for doodling's sake. All right, so we'll set that one back up there so you can see what it looks like when it's got some doodles on it. And we'll figure out our spacing. Whoops. Because like I said, we can overlap them even. I mean, leaves overlap in nature, right? All right, so that's what I want you guys, that's your homework. Doodle on some leaves for Wednesday, and then I'll come on after Ann on Wednesday, and we'll do our covers together of doing some brown background. We could, if we wanted to, just cover the cover the covers with craft paper or the paper from Amazon, the stuff they stuff in there. That would be a good background. If we take, I'm going to play with that because I'm thinking if we get some of that, any brown paper that's thin like that, and just crumple it up and open it and crumple it up and turn it real soft. Even a industrial paper towel would be awesome if you could get your hands on one of those. All right. So I will see you guys on Wednesday, if not sooner. Have a great Monday. And I'm going to see if I can go catch Leanna at Pastry Queen. See what she's doing in quilting. So I'll see you guys Wednesday. Bye.